This is the Devil's Bridge in Sedona, and here's how much we spent on our 7-day road trip to Arizona. Welcome everyone. Since you clicked on this video, there is a very high chance that you're planning to visit Arizona, and that is a fantastic idea. I am Rahul, and along with my partner Anna, we just took a road trip to Arizona and explored all the main attractions. And I gotta say, this was one of the most adventurous, most fascinating, and one of the most value for money trips that we have ever taken in our lives. In this video, I'll be sharing all the attractions we visited on a day-by-day basis, how much money we spent, and some exciting ways with which you can save money on your trip to Arizona. If you're new to the channel, I am Cheap Guy Rahul, and this is Arizona. From Antelope Canyon to Sedona, from Horseshoe to Grand Canyon, Arizona is beautiful, and that is the reason why 40 million tourists visit this state every year. We started our journey with a direct flight from Toronto, where we live, to Phoenix, the main city of Arizona. Phoenix is a really busy destination, and we booked our tickets 2 months in advance, and that helped us save quite a lot of money. And this brings me to the first money-saving tip for you. Arizona gets super busy during the tourist season, which is between May to October. So if you're planning to visit, I highly encourage you to book your tickets, your hotels, and your rental cars well in advance, at least 90 days. Depending on how much time you have, you can spend anywhere between 3 to 10 days easily in Arizona exploring the natural wonders. In our 8-day trip, we started in Phoenix, then we drove all the way to the north, covered all main attractions, then came down south to Flagstaff and went to Grand Canyon. Then we spent 3 days in Grand Canyon exploring all the attractions, and we drove south again to Sedona. After exploring the beautiful Sedona for 2 days, we drove south back to Phoenix, and after exploring this vibrant city, we concluded our trip. Day 1 of our trip, we picked up this beautiful Jeep Compass from Turo, and normally a car like this would easily rent for $100 per day. But since this is Arizona, things are a bit cheaper. So we paid a total of only $400 for renting this car for 7 days, including all insurance. After landing in Phoenix, we immediately went to our Airbnb, and we were feeling quite hungry. So we had a heavy meal at this amazing Mediterranean restaurant which is open till late night. The Golden Restaurant and Bakery is located in Tempe, and we had some of the best shawarma, some bussin kibbeh, and our late night dinner for 2 people costed only $25. After having our bellies full, we decided to drive out of Phoenix and head straight towards Flagstaff. Flagstaff is a beautiful destination, and there is a lot you can do here. On our visit, we took a stroll across the town and saw the iconic Flagstaff railway station. Although Flagstaff was not a part of our trip, we couldn't hold ourselves from taking a pit stop here, and that was really the best decision of today. We've taken a pit stop for a couple of hours, and we had only one meal at this beautiful little town, and that was at this restaurant. It's called Asia Station. We had an orange chicken. They have a lunch special between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and for $13.50, we got a huge portion of orange chicken, spring roll, rice, and some soup, and that was enough to feed the 2 of us, so that's a great deal if you come to Flagstaff. After this amazing meal, we left Flagstaff and continued our journey up north to a small town called Page. Page is the closest town to visit a few very important attractions. Places like Horseshoe Bend, Antelope Canyon, Lake Powell, and Glen Canyon Dam are less than 20 minutes drive from the town of Page. The Antelope Canyon is one of the most important attractions in northern Arizona, and you've probably seen this on Instagram. If you plan to visit the Antelope Canyon, I highly recommend booking a tour well in advance, as you cannot visit these canyons without a tour guide. Now, depending on your budget, you can choose between 3 different canyons. The Upper Antelope Canyon is one of the most beautiful and also one of the most crowded ones, and a ticket to enter costs about $90 per person. The second option is the Lower Antelope Canyon, also very beautiful, and a single ticket for an adult cost about $55. And as my name suggests, I'm the Cheap Guy Rahul, so I found out the cheapest canyon to visit, which is the Canyon X. It's also spectacularly beautiful and comparatively much less crowded to the Upper and Lower Antelope Canyons, and a single ticket for an adult cost only $39. Whether you visit the Upper Canyon, Lower Canyon, or Canyon X, all these tours are generally between 1 to 1.5 hours long and require some marginal hiking. During our visit, we noticed that your tour guides will keep telling you very interesting stories about these canyons, and also these guys know the best places to take your pictures. In fact, our tour guide was a pro photographer and took pictures for everyone in our group. So My recommendation would be, if you're visiting the canyons, please stay in front of your group so you will always get to hear all the amazing stories and you'll be the first person who gets to take the pictures. Visiting the Antelope Canyon was truly amazing, and after visiting the Antelope Canyon, we were feeling so hungry, so we decided to hit up this Korean restaurant called K-Pop Kitchen, which is located in Page. Anna chose to eat some Korean dish which had rice and noodles mixed, and I chose chicken. Our total for this lunch came out to $32, and I can say the food tasted really great. While Page is a very small town with only 11,000 people, it does have a lot of great restaurants. There is also a massive Walmart and Safeway. Both of them have pre-prepared foods, so there is something for everyone. Now after our lunch, we were again feeling quite full, so we decided to go to the next destination, which is the Glen Canyon Dam. The Glen Canyon Dam is a lookout point, and you can normally spend between 10 to 20 minutes. You can just park next to the bridge and explore around. There's a few lookout points where you can take some decent pictures, and then you can drive across the bridge and visit the third attraction, which is the Lake Powell. Lake Powell is free to visit, and you can totally have a nice swim here. Just make sure one thing, there are no lifeguards. So if you or your kids plan to swim here, make sure you follow the buddy system where somebody is always looking at the next person and you never let anybody go swim alone. We skipped the swimming, we did some hiking, took some pictures, and left Lake Powell. After Lake Powell, we drove straight to one of the most important attractions that you can visit in Arizona, the Horseshoe Bend. The best time to visit the Horseshoe Bend is during the sunset time between 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The Horseshoe Bend is so beautiful that no camera in the world can ever do justice. But trust me, with your own eyes, it looks so much better. The entrance to the parking lot cost about $10, and if you arrive on time, you will find a spot. After parking your car, you need to hike about 20 to 25 minutes and you will arrive at the Horseshoe Bend. After visiting the Horseshoe Bend, we went back to Walmart, picked up some food, went back to our Airbnb and rested for the day. If you're planning to visit northern Arizona, you can easily spend between 1 to 3 days. We spent 2.5 days here. On day 3, we decided to drive south and visit our next destination, Grand Canyon. The drive from northern Arizona to Grand Canyon is super beautiful, and you will be passing ice-capped mountains and the beautiful city of Flagstaff. This time we took a pit stop at Oregano's and had this beautiful, delicious deep dish pizza. For those of you who know me, I absolutely love the Chicago deep dish pizza. Every time I visit the city, I'm having it. And having the deep dish pizza here, so much far away in Arizona, was something that I couldn't resist. Our visit to Oregano was so amazing. This restaurant is super aesthetic, the servers are amazing, and a huge pizza cost only $25, which is 40% cheaper than Chicago. Now this pizza is enough to feed 3 or even 4 people. We were just 2, so we ate half of it and took the rest for ourselves. After another heavy lunch, we decided to go to the small town of William, which is near Grand Canyon. William is a very tiny community which is off the beaten path, and we rented a room in this healing ranch. If you're planning to visit Grand Canyon, there are a few hotels and resorts near the Grand Canyon, but nothing beats the solitude and peace of living on a ranch for 2-3 days and letting go all the noise of the big city. So at the ranch, we cooked our barbecues and had a really laid back time. The next day, we woke up early and drove to Grand Canyon and bought an entry pass. Now this entry pass to Grand Canyon costs around $35, but it's valid for 7 days. So if you plan to do some major hiking in Grand Canyon, like a lot of adventure enthusiasts, you don't need to pay every single day. You can just buy one pass and use the same for up to 7 days. After buying your pass, you will drive straight, and the first place where you'll arrive is the Grand Canyon Visitor Center. I would recommend you to bring some snacks and food beforehand, but in case you forget, the Grand Canyon Visitor Center does have a nice supermarket, just the prices are slightly higher. There are many parking lots, and you don't need to drive in the Grand Canyon area. You can simply park your cars, and there are free shuttle buses that can take you to every single point of interest. There are about 8 to 10 nice spots to see in the Grand Canyon, and you can do all of these in a single day. My personal favorites are the Grand Canyon Visitor Center, Mathers Point, Hopi Point, and the Geological Museum. The Grand Canyon, what can I even say? It is so majestic. The first time you look at it, all your worries, all your stress is just going to fade away. We explored the canyon for the entire day and it was one of the most peaceful and memorable days of my life. Now after visiting the canyon, we came back to our Airbnb, rested for the day, and I played with farm cats. The next day, we decided to move on to our next destination, Sedona. It is much closer to the big city Phoenix, and that is the reason why a lot more tourists come here. If I was visiting Arizona for only 2 or 3 days, I would actually land in Phoenix and only cover Sedona and completely skip the other destinations. While in Sedona, we rented this cute cabin at Cottonwood, which is about 25 minutes drive from all major attractions. And God, I love this tiny cabin because it came with a real fire pit. We took the rest of the day to just relax, have some beers, and chill out because the next day is when we get up at 4:30 a.m. to conquer the Devil's Bridge. By the way, does it happen to you? I'm a person who normally finds it really difficult to wake up at early hours like 5 a.m. or even 5:30 a.m. But when I have to do something so exciting like climb the Devil's Bridge, I was able to get up at 4:30 a.m. no problem. So we got up at 4:30 a.m. and decided to drive to the Devil's Bridge. Now here's a piece of advice. If you plan to visit the Devil's Bridge, please arrive before 6 a.m. There are very few parking spots and they get taken up very fast. Once you park your car, the hike from the parking area to the top of the bridge is about 2 miles and roughly takes around 1 hour. And you'll be able to stand there and take your very own masterpiece pictures. After reaching the top, we spent around 1.5 hours there. We took our time, we sat down, we took a lot of pictures. And the best thing about all this, it's completely free. Now, throughout our stay in Sedona, we wanted to eat a little bit healthier and stay away from junk food, so we visited a Walmart and picked up a lot of healthy food. This brings me to the third money-saving tip of this video. Walmart in US is absolutely amazing. You can buy a rotisserie chicken, salad, yogurt, and everything else you like. What this does is you get to eat a lot of healthy food and you can also save up to 80% of what you'd pay in a restaurant. So we took the opportunity and had all our meals from food that we buy from Walmart. We spent the next 2 days exploring Sedona and we visited the Cathedral Rock, Chapel of Holy Cross, the Amitabha Stupa, and the Thalake Art and Shopping Village. All these attractions were really phenomenal and can be done including Devil's Bridge in just 2 days. Now if you plan to visit Sedona, I highly recommend taking your Airbnb in Cottonwood specifically. Why? Because this is a very special community which is also known as the Dark Sky Community. What this means is after sunset, you won't see a lot of street lights or even city lights. People here like their sky extra dark, and this makes it the perfect place to see some stars, have a bonfire, and have some beers and just lay back. We ended our visit to Sedona with lots of beautiful memories, a beautiful sunset, and drove to Phoenix to explore the cultural heart of Arizona. Now there are a few important attractions in Phoenix. The Museum of Art, Desert Botanical Gardens, Papagayo Park, and Heard Museum are some of the popular ones. Now here comes the fourth money-saving hack. Places like the Museum of Art, Botanical Gardens, and the Tempe Museum of History all have free entrances on some specific days. Luckily, your boy was able to get free entrance to all these places. The Tempe Museum of History is completely free to visit any day, and you can normally visit this entire place in 1 to 2 hours. This place captures the history of Indian people. They have an old fire truck, some police vehicles, and a farm truck where you can take pictures. Also, there is a lot of fun stuff for your kids. After the Tempe Museum of History, we visited the Museum of Art. Now, the secret to visiting the Museum of Art for free is to visit in evenings on Wednesdays. We also visited the Desert Botanical Gardens, again for completely free, and you can do it yourself on every second Tuesday of the month. Overall, our 8-day road trip to Arizona was so memorable. We covered so many attractions, but my top 4 attractions that I personally loved were the Horseshoe Bend, the Antelope Canyon, the Grand Canyon, and Sedona. With all the different money-saving tips and with my Neo card, we were able to manage this entire road trip with only $23 budget for 2 people. Now here's a breakdown. We spent $700 on accommodation, $400 on our rental car, $500 on tickets, and $700 for parking, food, and others. My trip to Arizona has left a deep impression in my soul and it will never be erased. And if you plan to visit, I wish you tons of adventure, tons of fun, and a lot of great memories. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and until next time, safe travels.